What's up, y'all? This video is going to be a doozy. On my TikTok page, there were a lot of people that were either supporters of Southsiders or maybe they might have been Southsiders, and they were definitely resistant to what I was saying about what I'm going to show you in this video. Now, watch this, and this is probably going to break a few people's hearts. It's probably going to question their loyalty. Like, man, was I loyal to a gang that wasn't loyal? Whatever the case may be. But I'm going to talk to you and tell you how the Southsider organization, in many ways, they're still the same, just like the other organizations in prison. Now, watch this video, and then we're going to expound on it.
I'm going to give you the basis and reasoning for why prison gangs tell on each other in prison to get the upper hand in competition. But before I do that, I'm going to read something that one of my Mexican homies sent regarding Southsiders telling in prison. Now, he's a highly decorated and respected prison investigator that literally has people from all over the country seeking advice from him and picking his brain. My homie knows this stuff straight up. I asked him if he has any experience with Southsiders coming to him with information about anything. Now, I quote, "The only time I've had them come to me is to get the competition out of the way. I saw that game, but a hit is a hit." He also said, I quote, "They do anything to get rid of the competition. Money is the name of the game." Now, the reasoning for this behavior is derived from a very popular book titled The Art of Fill in the Blank. I'm sure somebody in the comments will say the title of the book, but I can't because TikTok slapped me on the hand. Now, in the book, The Art of You Know What, there's a wise saying in the third chapter of the book that I'm going to paraphrase to meet community standards. You can have 100 incidents and win 100 incidents, but that is not the pinnacle. The pinnacle is to be able to remove and defeat the opposition without putting in work. Now, what do you think that means? To be able to remove people without making contact with them? This book is like the Bible concerning strategy for you know what. Now, based on my experiences as it relates to people from the South Side, I would say the people that tell must be rogue operators that are in violation of their rules and will face discipline if found out, or they were given some type of secret pass or secret permission to knock off the competition by using the strategy from the book. I cannot ultimately decide which one it is, but I'm just going to lay this out for you and you can decide for yourself. Now, although I've never had somebody from the South come to me to tell on a black inmate, I have seen with my own eyes people from the South talking to gang investigators by themselves. Now, to be fair, I don't know what the inmate was talking about, and I don't know if he was operating as a rogue member that would face discipline if found out, but I definitely knew that because he didn't have a witness with him, he was in violation of their rules. I will do a video about that soon. Now, please understand, by no means am I trying to say that the people on the South Side have it in their rules that they can tell on other people. I know that's not what they preach, and I've seen plenty of removals because people broke various violations. All I'm saying is somehow, in some way, people in that car provide information to us. Again, I don't know if that person was a rogue operator that will face discipline if found out, or if it's a person that was given secret permission to provide information to knock off the competition, as it is outlined in that famous book that majority of people in prison have to read. It absolutely 100% happens, and I have to be honest again and say, I don't know if these people are acting as rogue members or if they were given secret permission or clearance to do it. I'm not going to get on here and lie on any organization because that's not what I'm about. I honestly don't know which one it is, but I'll let you decide. My goal is to just bring awareness to people about the dangers of life in prison and hopefully deter people from living a life that will land you in jail or prison. Now, I laid out the information for you, and it is ultimately for you to decide what to think. There's nothing that you'll be able to do to tell me or to change my mind or convince me otherwise, because I've seen it with my own eyes as an officer, and I've been in the rooms or the places where it's happened. Now, jump in the comments, sound off, and let me know. What do you think from your honest and objective opinion? Peace out.
Okay, so first let me say my apologies. There was a slight delay in certain points, but that's just because of the reception, the internet, all that stuff. But the book that I was talking about, it is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Now, I'm not going to mention that book anymore, but that's the name of the book that I was referencing. Now, there was a lot of resistance that I got from, again, either current or former Southsiders or people that support the Southsiders, whatever it is, right? There was a lot of comments. Oh, that ain't true. And we don't never tell. Nobody tells. We don't ever do that. That's against the code. And I get that, right? I get what you're saying. But you got to understand that I'm going to be providing this information from the unique perspective as an active CEO that works behind the walls. Every single car, and I can tell you this for a fact, every single car tells on each other at some point to try to get the upper hand. That is literally one of the strategies in the book, The Art of War. In chapter 3, where it talked about taking out your enemy or your adversary, you know what I'm saying, without any bloodshed or without any war, what do you think that is? Now, I'm going to provide you a few little stories, and we'll add some more dialogue to it. And I thought I would add this part in, right? Now, I want to make it clear. I'm not saying that it is in the rules for the Southsiders to tell on anybody or to just do whatever they want. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is somehow and some way we get intel from people that are inside of that car concerning other people. That's all I'm saying. And again, that is normal behavior. Again, I know you have different videos out there of people saying different things, but I'm telling you, as a CEO, I don't know how many kites I have read where inmates would turn in information and all the cars are pointing at each other. Now, obviously, the inmates are not going to put their names, on the kites and say, hey, so-and-so has drugs and sell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and signed, Big Bubba or the homie or whatever. They're not going to do that because obviously that'll draw heat to them. But trust me when I tell you, I've read numerous kites and all of the cars at some point, they do provide information to try to get the upper hand. Now, let me tell you this story, and then I'll tell you a few stories, actually. Now, there was this one time, right? I had to escort this Southsider. He had to go to this certain place. Now, I had no idea that I was being used in some kind of like covert, clandestine mission to, have this dude give up information or allegedly, right? So I escorted the Southsider to where he was supposed to go. I'm not going to say where he was supposed to go, but I can't even lie. Like, it was ingenious. And I didn't even know they did that because I was a rookie at the time. So I escort this inmate to this particular area. And I was thinking he was going to do what they normally do in that area. However, all out of nowhere, this dude, gang investigator, he popped out like Batman and he had his folder. He sat down. And the Southsider and the gang investigator, they started talking. Now, to be clear and to be fair, I don't know what they were talking about. I don't know the details, but I definitely knew something didn't smell right because even as a rookie, I knew that when the Southsider, because every Southsider that would come up to me or other officers, they have a witness with them. And a witness is somebody that just stands there as like, when you call that 1-800 number and this call may be recorded for quality control purposes. Well, they have a witness that's used as quality control purposes to make sure you're not telling or make sure you're not doing stuff you're not supposed to do. And they have to follow that, and they do. Now, in this situation where this dude was like in this secret place talking to this gang investigator, and obviously it was set up for other purposes because what that place was designed for, they weren't doing that. So I was like, dang, that is crazy. So as I escorted the dude back, I didn't say nothing to him. I didn't ask no. I didn't want to know nothing. You know what I'm saying? But that's stuff that happens. And other cars, they do the same. So all I'm trying to get you to understand is some of the tactics that are used in prison, it's universal. It is universal. Okay. Now, again, I don't know if these inmates in the South, I don't know if they're acting as rogue operators that's going to eventually face discipline if found out, or if it was a situation where they were given like this secret pass or secret permission to, use one of the strategies from that book that I mentioned. Now, I'm going to tell you another story. And again, I'm going to talk about the other cars fair across the board. So don't think that I'm just doing this campaign on Southsider, because the next group that I'm going to talk about is the blacks. And y'all ain't going to be able to accuse me of nothing when I talk, because that's, I'm black, right? So I'm just fair across the board because there's a lot of misconceptions in prison that people don't understand. Now, this next story, this was like, man, this was crazy. So one of the gang investigators, right? We were just standing in a circle talking. So one of the gang investigators, he came up to us and he was like, hey, we got some intel from a reliable source that they're supposed to be, I don't know, it was either a discipline or a removal. I don't remember, but it was like it's supposed to be a 3-on-1. It's supposed to happen here around this time. And allegedly these are the people involved, all that stuff. Now, I didn't ask if, his source, aka confidential informant, I didn't ask if it was a South Side or whatever. I was like, okay, whatever. So it didn't happen right then and there when it was supposed to. And I'm just guessing maybe it was because we were all ready for it. But, let me put a little caveat in. There can be hits that are done, and there can be people that get DP'd right in front of the officers. And that's happened numerous times where you got dudes that, I kid you not, true story. You will have inmates that will run away from, the dudes with the knives, and they'll try to hide behind the officers. So if there's orders that you got to do it right then and there, they will do it. However, for whatever reason, they didn't do it at that exact time. But a few hours later, they did it. So we respond, and that's where I got hurt because I've been out for a while and I got a long road to recovery. So, this thing that I'm telling you, this was legit. I'm hurt. I'm a long road to recovery, man. I got banged up pretty good. Now, no, they didn't attack me or nothing like that, but it's just you get older, and when you get involved in those type of tussles, you can get hurt. So it was sure enough a 3-on-1, and they did their thing. You know what I'm saying? But I'll let you decide, right? Because normally, right, whenever there's a situation of one car has to clean up their trash or whatever, sometimes they'll let the other cars know, hey, this is what's going on, or that's what's going on, because they don't want to cause any confusion and make the other cars like jump in or something. So it could have been possible that they could have gave them a heads up that, hey, something's going to happen. We got to clean house. But for any other cars to know the details of a hit or a DP or removal, whatever, for them to know those types of details, just looking at it objectively, it will be very, very difficult for it to be assumed that someone outside of their car told, because that stuff, when they gonna get somebody, that's hush, hush. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to do this video, man, because it's like, again, I was met with so much resistance. Oh, that can never happen. And oh, that's not right. And you full of it and this, that, and the other. And then there were some people, they were rational thinkers, and they were like, man, I've been down this amount of time, that amount of time. Everybody be telling on everybody at the end of the day. And there was this one comment. I'm going to try to get an interview with him. I'm not going to say exactly what he said because I'm going to just wait. But he said something where I was like, okay, this dude got some wisdom. He's been down for a minute. He's out now. But he said something on my TikTok page. So I'm going to see if I can interview him. But just know, man, that the Southsiders, they are definitely a reputable opponent. They're going to bring the funk. They are highly organized, and they're probably, now, again, I've done it in other videos. I didn't have a lot of experience with Norteños, so I can't really speak a lot about them. But from my experience with the Southsiders and the other groups, they are definitely by far the most organized. But all I'm saying is, with all these different gangs that you have, nobody is immune to people turning on, the other people. Now, for instance, right, let's think about Jesus, whether you're religious or not, right? Jesus handpicked 12 disciples. And even though Jesus picked the 12 disciples, one of them turned on him and was a rat. So if Jesus, I don't necessarily want to say if Jesus can get it wrong, but if Jesus can handpick some people and, you get a bad apple, then what do you think can happen with these gang organizations? Everybody is not solid. Everybody, from all the cars across the board, every single car has people that provide information to us, whether it be through kites, whether it be through those clandestine covert missions that, they had me go on. I had no idea what I was doing. I just, okay, I'll escort him over here and, he'll do his thing and we'll go back. I didn't know that was going to be some kind of possible, okay, because I don't have proof of it. But I didn't know that could be a possible debriefing conversation or providing intel either within his group or outside. I had no idea. But again, if Jesus got a bad apple, if he handpicked, then what can you say about these other cars in prison? So I hope you got some type of edification from this video. Now, don't get it twisted, right? The Southsiders, you know what I'm saying? They're going to come with the business. They're going to do their thing, but just understand, man, every single car has people in it that turn on their own or they provide information on others. Now, I'm not saying that this is an official rule that the Southsiders have, because I've seen plenty of removals where people violate and they transgress. So that's not what I'm saying. The only thing I'm trying to figure out, or I don't really know, is if the people that's telling, you know what I'm saying, are they doing this on their own and breaking their own rules? Or were they given some type of secret permission to follow this strategy that is very effective in that book that I mentioned? So hopefully, like I said, man, I don't want to go on too long about this, but definitely know, man, that prison, there is no loyalty. I promise you, there is no loyalty. Now, let me give you this last story. And I respect this dude, right? Now, obviously, his car, the Southsiders, they're not, you know, I'm sure they probably put a green light on him after he did it, but he did the slickest PC move I ever seen. Because again, you know the thing about you got to have a witness, right? Well, this witness, this inmate, he had just got in off the bus, got his bedroll, he came into the unit I was working, and so he was walking up with his witness, but he walked up just a little faster, just a hair faster than his witness. And this is a 100% true story. The dude mouthed at me. He said, "I can't be here." But he didn't say it, but he mouthed it with his words. And he was just ahead of his witness. And his witness couldn't see it. So I was like, wait a minute. Did I just see what I saw? So I had to, you know, I didn't want to get up and, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? I'm an OG in this. So I'm not going to bring heat on him and try to get him beat up right there. So I just played it cool. I said, okay, cool. You know, something like, man, come help me get these matches for you, or whatever it was. And I took him on the other side, and then, you know, we escorted him out, right? And as he was talking, and this is honest to God truth, he was like, man, this is so embarrassing. I ain't never had to do something like this in my life. You know, I'm a real rider, man. But he's like, man, I go home in 6 months. I haven't seen my family in years. You know, my girls, they're growing up on me. You know, I want to have a life out of here. So he was like, so I don't know if they told him that he immediately had to put in work or something, or I don't know, or he was going to get beat up. Or I have no idea. But I had a little casual conversation with him as he was walking away. And I just said, hey, man, you know, I respect what you're doing. You know, I'm not a gang member, so I don't have to follow those rules. But I was like, you know, at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. You know what I'm saying? And I'll never forget that, because that was the slickest PC move I have ever seen. And I'm telling you, the dude, they were walking side by side coming up to me. But then the dude that, you know, was PCing up, he took a few extra quick steps to get in a little front of him. And he mouthed it with his words, I can't be here. And I was just like, wow. So I'll never forget that, right? But just know, man, stay out of these lifestyles that can land you in jail or prison. You know what I'm saying? Go to church, go to school, listen to your mama, listen to your daddy, whatever it is. But just know, if you land up in jail and prison, you have to understand there is no honor among thieves. These organizations, even though they demand loyalty from you and absolute loyalty, they're not going to give you absolute loyalty. One day you could be in their good graces, and, you know, you might fart the wrong way, or, you know, you may not brush your teeth good all the way, and they can decide, oh, green light, you out of here. So just please stay away from it, and just know that, yes, you know, the Southsiders, they are highly organized. They are a feared opponent. They bring the funk, but just know they're still infiltrated with people that provide information, just like the other cars. Now, again, I just don't know if it's sanctioned, like secretly sanctioned, or if they're operating rogue, but I will let you decide that for yourself. So until the next video, holla at your boy.